Hello and welcome back to another video for the Games Kingdom, but this time the video is also in association with Everything Board Games, and this video is going to be showing you a quick unboxing and how to sort of play, quick run through the rules of an upcoming Kickstarter from Wonderbow Games called Hunters of the Lost Creatures. It is a card game for 3 to 4 players and takes about 15 minutes according to the rules, and what you're trying to do is build your own wildlife park, and you're doing that by playing cards, and then by playing cards from your hand you will be hopefully collecting creatures, and then you will be setting those creatures down on the table which will form your wildlife park. And you will then be trying to build up sets of cards of those creatures in both number and colour sequences. And if you do that, depending on what you have on the table, you will score points. So what we have, a quick flick through here, is you can see a card there with a 10, a 1, a 2, a 3 and a 0. Now if you have that as a complete set, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 10, that will score you 30 points. If you have the 1, 2 and 3 cards, that will score you 10 points. If you have a card from each of the coloured decks, that will also score you 10 points. And if when you're totting up your scores you have any other spurious cards in your park that don't score as a set, that card will score you the face value of that card. So it might be wise sometimes to try and pick up an extra 10 here and there, even if you know you can't pick up the whole set. That card will still get you points as per the face value of that card at the end of the game. So when you start, you each reveal a card from each of the decks, and those are the creatures that are basically up for grabs at that particular time. So each person is going to start with a hand of hunters, and because there are potentially 4 players, there are 4 hunters of each colour, and as I say, each player is going to start with one of these in their hand. You will also start with 3 park closed cards, and these are classed as special cards because they have a white border. There are also more of these special cards, as you can see. They are sort of dotted about in the packs as well, in the decks. So this is going to be each person's potential hand. If you've got a 4-player game, they're just random, so it doesn't really matter which hunters you get or you choose. As long as you get one of each, you get 3 of those park closed cards, and that's your starting hand. Before you reveal any cards, what you also will be doing is adding the Thieves to each relevant deck, and there are 2 of those. And then on each deck as well, randomly, it doesn't matter which deck those go into, and really you shouldn't know which ones have them in there. You've got tornado and catapult cards. Each player, if they want, will also get a guide card, and they're all the same. On one side it tells you what the special cards do, and on the other it gives you the scoring of those cards and sets that you can build up as you are putting cards from the table into your own park. So basically, as I say, you're trying to build the best wildlife park you can, and when one of these decks is the only one with a hunting area that has cards left, the game ends, and then you start the scoring, and then you work out who's got the most, and that person's win. winning the game. So as I say, each player has a hunter, and the park closed at the start, and you basically start at the beginning of the game. You play a card on the table, one of your hunters, and if you are the only person who's played that hunter card of that particular colour, so if one player was the only player to play the blue, they would get that particular blue creature card and they would play it into their park. If 3 people played the blue, then that card is simply lost from the game because it's deemed that there's too many hunters and there's been too much noise made, and it's simply scared it away, and it goes on a discard pile and it never comes back. So you've got all of these things going on at the start, and you've got all of the same hand, so the possibility of that happening early on in the game is, I would think, quite high. But obviously with 4 to choose from, you're hopefully going to get at least 1, maybe 2 players, and maybe all 4 potentially picking up cards at one point or other in that particular round. But as I say, if more than one hunter is brought out, then nobody gets that particular card. It's a simultaneous sort of action style game, so you all will play the cards at the same time. They're all revealed at the same time, and then you work from there to see if anybody or nobody gets anything to put into their park. So you get the creature that matches your hunter, as I say, unless at least one other player has also sent a hunter to the same hunting area, and because of that noise factor, nobody gets that card. If you catch the creature, you place it face up in any open park, usually your own, but you can place it in somebody else's if you wish, and then you reveal a new creature from the pile. In every round there should be cards from all hunting areas available to catch, unless there are no cards left. So you just keep going, as I say, until only one area has cards left, because at the start of the game you put these cards underneath, and then when you get to these cards, basically there's no cards left of that particular area, which is air, sea, steppe and forest. And when there's only cards left on one of these and the other 3 have been revealed, as I say, that triggers the end game sequence. So the game, as I say, continues around in that fashion, and basically you've got cards. So you've got your hunter cards, you've got your creature cards which you're collecting, trolls which you can collect the same way as creatures, and they must also be placed in any open park, and they are the 10 value cards. And then you've got the special cards, which are cards with the white borders. So those cards you can play as well, or instead of a hunter. So basically playing those will do other things to either you and or another player, or just another player. So basically let's have a quick sort of look at what those particular cards do. So you've got your catapult card. If you play that, you can permanently discard a card from any player's open park from the game. So that could be something that you no longer want, but more times than not, I would think you're going to catapult a card from somebody else's park that you think might be too powerful. It might be getting close to the end of the game and they've got that spurious 10 card sitting there. You don't want them to score those 10 points. You can catapult that card and it goes on the discard pile. Or you can take a card out of somebody's 30 point sequence, which means obviously that won't score. So that is a very good card. There are only 2 in the game, so they're not too overly powerful, and once you play the cards they also go and are discarded. So only 2 times during the game can that catapult card come out and will be used. The tornado card means that you can exchange any 2 creatures from any player's open parks, including your own. So you could look at the other players, they don't have anything, so what I might do is exchange a couple of cards from 2 of the other players to potentially sort of knock their points down on both of them if they got too far ahead of you in the game. again, you could screw up a couple of theirs. You could, you know, if they've got the 30-point sequence, you could take the 1 card out of one person's and the 3 card out of somebody else's, or the 10 card and the 3 card, and you just swap them over, and that would stop them potentially scoring those 30-point runs. So it's a bit of a sort of sneaky move, but those sorts of things are quite nice in games because, as I say, it stops some people running away with it if they've been able to pick up some nice cards when you haven't, simply because you've played the same colour hunter maybe in an earlier round and they've picked up some cards along the way that you needed, and or thought, well, they're just too powerful now, so we'll stop them from doing that. There are thieves, so the thief cards which I showed you earlier, there are a couple of those in each coloured deck. You can steal a creature from another player's open park and place it in your own, but the card stroke creature that you steal has to be of the same colour as the thief. So the yellow could only steal the yellow, the blue, and so on. So again, although that's a good card, you'd have to then choose from somebody other than yourself on the table who to steal that card from. But again, once that card's played, because it's a special card, goes out of the game into a discard pile, nobody else can play it. And then your other card, which you start with 3, is your closed park card. So that means your park is closed for this round. So if you play that, nothing can get in or out. So you can't get any more cards to put into your park, but nobody can play any of those other cards that I showed you to do a switch, to permanently catapult and discard a card out, or steal a card from you. But obviously, if you play that, that safeguards your park for that particular round, but then it becomes open again at the end of that round, and you've got 3 of those to play during the game. But then as soon as you play those, they're also discarded and out of the game. You don't get those back into your hand. The only cards that you get back into your hand at any time are the hunters. So you play a hunter, whether it gets a creature or not, that hunter will come back into your hand, and then you can either reuse that the next turn if you think, well, nobody expects me to play another hunter of the same colour, or you can change around and play that at a later date. So basically that's how the game plays. So as I say, you've got your 4 starting sort of creature decks, and you keep revealing those as somebody takes one. Another card will come out. Again, if that gets took, you could, another card, the next card that could come out might be the catapult card. It might be the tornado card in this pile. It might be one of the thieves in this pile, and then you might only end up with a creature card in this pile of a value of such, like so. So you might get one of the trolls out. So obviously people are going to be fighting over some of these cards. There's 3 special cards out here and a troll card. So again, you've got to work out, oh, I really want that card, but probably somebody else does as well. But if I play my hunter card, at least if somebody else plays it, none of us get it. But obviously then that will mean that potentially one of the other players is going to get one of the other special cards and be able to do something against you or another player, maybe in the next round or at a later round, getting close to the end game sequence. So once these cards start to come out and you're building up your parks, you're going to be potentially more vulnerable on what you can play and more susceptible on what people can take from you or discard from your parks. So it might be a case of, once you think you've got enough points, maybe that you're getting close to some sort of winning point, it might be good to try and sort of take one of these, get rid of the cards, because as I say, once one of the decks is the only deck with cards left, that starts the end sequence. But there are quite a few cards in each deck, so it's going to take a while. But because it's simultaneous and it's a fast-paced game, as I say, 15 minutes a game, it's not going to be hanging around for long, and those rounds are going to be thick and fast, and you've got to keep an eye on the ball of what you've got, what you need, but also obviously what your opponents need, what they're trying to collect, what they may have picked up in earlier rounds that they might be able to steal stuff from you or get rid of stuff out of your park. You know, do I play a closed park card this turn because I think they're going to try and play a particular card on me? So as I say, all these cards are played blind, and you'll reveal them. So you might play the closed park and somebody else has played one of the catapult or a steal card, then they're going to have to steal from somebody else or get rid of somebody else's card when really they wanted to get rid of one of yours. So it looks like a nice little game. As I say, it's Hunters of the Lost Creatures, coming to Kickstarter shortly from Wonderbow Games. But if you're interested in this, keep an eye out for it. Have a look on their Instagram channel, which is at Lost Creatures Game, or look at their website, which is www.lostcreaturesgame.com. And there will be obviously this video out there. It will be on both my channel, the Games Kingdom, hopefully on the Everything Board Games Facebook page and channel. So if you want to have a sort of look through this, and if it sort of appeals to you, you know, I think this is going to be a nice little filler that you can sort of play whilst you're waiting maybe for people to turn up on a night to play another game that you've organised, and this is just sort of like a quick game that you can break out and sort of fill in. But I think this will be a nice little game to sort of gateway people into the hobby of all ages, really. The artwork on the cards I think will suit fairly young gamers, sort of 7-8 years upwards, hopefully. You know, you've got some animals, you know, and some other sort of iconography on here. There's nothing really that would scare younger gamers, and I think it would be a nice, as I say, a nice little gateway game for younger gamers to get in. But also, if you've got people round maybe your house for an evening and they're non-gamers, you could break this out instead of your usual sort of monopolies or normal card games. And yeah, you know, it's something that, you know, might sort of pique a few people's interests. Check it out online, guys. Wonderbow Games, Hunters of the Lost Creatures. Keep an eye out for it coming to Kickstarter in the coming weeks. And until then, we'll see you soon. Bye for now.